Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Unboxing video today. So this is, as you can see, from Novritsch. This is actually not anything in terms of a replica. So hopefully that sign doesn't kind of bear any meaning, because I'm not going to show you any actual realistic imitation, or I don't want to say the word, riffs today. But basically this is another purchase that was kind of inspired by Jaeger Precision. As I've said, I played with him when I was back in the UK, and he actually said to me, he was like, hey, you need to check these out. It is more with this one, as you probably know from the thumbnail, to do with eye protection and defogging or not fogging up. This is my usual setup, and this might be what I continue to work with. But actually, after Jaeger Precision recommended this, I was like, I should check it out and like kind of see if it's another version for me that could work. What I normally run is a helmet. So I have this, which is my Team Wendy helmet, and I have on the back here an Xfog unit. So basically this is like a fan, a unit which is a fan which goes in here. Let me just try. Basically this kind of self-contained Xfog unit. It basically just has a fan that pushes air out the bottom here. I can charge it with like a little USB, and there's got like a battery indicator there, USB-C, sorry. This basically pushes air in through this inlet and then through these tubes. And then I have two tubes that run right here on the front. So when I put on my helmet, I have my eye protection, which I love, which is these Oakley M-Frames. Very expensive, but they are ballistic rated and they work really well. Used by a lot of like real steel, like forces, etc., as their kind of protective eyewear. And then you can get these, which are these gaskets, which will go on here. And this will click onto the inside, and really it has two benefits. The main benefit that I wear it for is that I can put those two tubes into these little holes here, and those will blow air through the sides here and basically keep the lens from fogging up. The other big advantage for me that it has is it actually stops the sweat from like running down my lens, or it dries it very quickly. So I don't get the like water kind of on my lens, which is my main issue. A lot of people say to me, hey, like you should wear these goggles, these glasses or these goggles, they have anti-fog, they've never fogged up for me, they're great. My main issue is actually like moisture and water running down. I sweat so much. And so I'll wear that, and then I'll actually wear a headband as well underneath. Now, I really like these, but they're not perfect. Like they have a lot of good things about them. One of the main issues that I have, which I don't notice a huge amount, but when I've got this running here, you can see these bends in these PTFE tubes can happen, which is going to restrict the airflow. The other thing is it's kind of annoying to have to put these tubes in every single time. And then the other aspect I have is I actually have a pin in my head here. I had a brain tumor removed in like 2020. And so the glasses actually can just sit and like stick onto that area just as I'm like forcing them in. So over time, it can get kind of painful. Again, it's something that's not too bad. But when I saw Jaeger Precision playing, he was like, hey, you should check out these things from Novritsch. They basically, I think, have done a copy of what the Xfog is, but they've done their own version of it. And the reason that I wanted to check these ones out is because they actually have goggles which attach onto them, and then the gasket's almost like a magnet which will like click in. So the idea is that I can run the lines, and we're going to open it up so we'll have a look, but I can basically run the lines here. I'll have like this little magnet, and then the actual airlines will just click in as soon as I put my goggles on, and then it will just run air. I don't have to mess around with these tubes at the front. The other thing he actually did, which I might do a future video on, there's a packing slip there. I might do a future video on, but what he actually did, which I thought was so clever, and I didn't see it before, is he actually had springs inside the PTFE tube. So like actual springs that basically just kept the like the actual form of the PTFE tube. So where mine's bending like that at the back, which is just really annoying, he put a spring inside it, which means that it keeps it like in a position where it's not going to be like that. So I was like, oh wait, that's a really clever idea. Why haven't I thought of that before? But because of his recommendation, I was like, I'm going to check this out. So I got 3 items in here. I'll run you through what those items are, just so then we can, I'll put these away because those are the other ones that we have. the 3 items that we have are, let me go through it. I have the Antifog safety goggles, which are here. Again, I don't really wear goggles, but I'm willing to try them just because of Jaeger Precision's kind of advice there. I've got the Antifog arc unit, which is this unit. It's basically the Xfog, but a slightly different design. And it's actually got the tubes kind of like coming out the side, which I think could be kind of cool. We'll see that as well. And then also these Antifog unit arc rail clips. Now I run a a Team Wendy helmet, so these won't work, I don't think, with that helmet. But I wanted to see what it was like because it's kind of cool to be able to, actually like attach the tubes onto the side with these attachments. So basically, on your regular helmet, these will go into the arc rails, which are the rails on the side, which normally you're mounting your headset to. And I presume then that just kind of like goes into that little slot there. And then you've got this, which is going to just hold onto the tube to hold it in place. Really clever idea. There's one thing with Novritsch actually is very good is they do kind of like, because they're building stuff for airsoft specifically, they do kind of try and solve the issues that come up for airsofters. And that's definitely one of them. Okay, so we've got the PTFE tube here. So you can see it's all folded there. I need to find... The actual diameter of this is a lot wider than the one on the Xfog, which I think is going to be better, just more airflow. But I need to find a spring that's going to go inside this so that I can do a similar thing to what Jaeger's done. This is, I think, the magnet that is going to basically allow us to run it like this. So I think that is going to go at the top of the helmet, like right up here. And then this piece, I think, is going to go in the goggles so that when I put it on, it's just going to click in place. Again, like another thing that is an airsofter's issue that probably most people don't have unless you're an airSofter. I don't know what that is. It's like a little like metal kind of clip. Oh, we'll figure it out. A charger in here, and then it's also got, oh, this is a punch tool and a cutting edge. It says on the back there. So that's kind of cool. So I suppose if you're doing it in other goggles, that's going to allow you basically to cut the holes needed to put this like top piece in. I think because we have the actual Novritsch brand goggles, I'm hoping that it just attaches straight on the top. But I don't know if I'm going to like these goggles because there's no arms to them like there is on my M-Frames. I am excited to see if I prefer that. It also does actually have like a nice, almost like sweat diverting piece there. So it looks like I might actually have to, I think it's got a film on the inside because it's not going to be like that. But this is what these are going to look like. So that's pretty good. It's definitely got an internal film that I need to pull off. It's given me an installation manual, so that hopefully is going to be a good one to do. But it is going to give me full coverage. They're pretty good looking, as in they're not like ugly goggles. They have a rear clip connection here as well, which is kind of good. Because it means you can take them off without having to like remove your whole helmet if you've got access to the rear. But yeah, they're definitely giving me full seal. A little bit shine on there, but that's not too bad. But I can feel already like I start to fog up just because I run so hot like normally, but they're comfortable. They don't get in the way of this, which is the pin in my head. So yeah, so that's pretty good so far. Price on these are in euros, 59 euros. So you're probably looking about $80. Sorry, wrong one. 30 euros. So you're probably looking about $50 for the goggles. So not cheap and not expensive, kind of your middle of the line price. Quality of it feels pretty good. I think you could probably change out these connectors if you wanted to and have a different strap on there, which might be what I would look to do. This I can plug in, but it looks like they have already put a Velcro strap on the back. It actually, or a Velcro pad. It actually looks like they didn't lay it down fully properly, which is kind of annoying. So I might have to relay it, but they have left other Velcro here, so I can do that. There's a full set there, and then they've set me another half, so you could stick this onto whatever you want. I think it's not a bad looking. It sounds like there's not any charge on this at the moment, so I need to charge it. I've got a little charger here, so we'll plug this in. There we go. It's giving me a charging indicator light there, and it's flashing red to charge. But it sounded like that didn't have any actual charge on it. Okay, now I've turned it on. You can hear. The other thing is it's not super quiet. So one issue that I have actually with this one is that when I've got on my contacts, because these are expensive headphones and they amplify everything around me, it's almost like I'll have a constant humming because of that noise. And I think this is going to be a lot quieter. Actually, no. Hear that? So actually, this is a lot quieter. This is the Novritsch. That's that. There's a turbo button on the top. So if I have the turbo button engaged, it's basically the same, like same volume. If I push the turbo button again, it doesn't turn off though. Yeah, that's the, I mean, the Xfog definitely does sound louder. Another thing with the Xfog is it's got like 3 buttons. Well, it's got 1 button, you hit it 3 times. The first one's the most powerful. Then it's like less powerful, then it's less powerful. This actually, and then it goes off. So it's almost got 1 button, but you kind of push it 3 times to turn it off. This one's got a click here, which is pretty nice because it knows you've got it on. They're still loud, you know. Also there, if I move it, you can hear that something's moving inside or catching inside, which is kind of annoying. So I'm running. No, I probably wouldn't make a difference there. I can turn it off, I can turn it on, and then I can whack it up to full. And then that's putting on the turbo. Doesn't seem like I can turn, if I hold it, the turbo. Doesn't seem like I can turn the turbo off if I'm wanting to. Air pressure coming out of this. It's coming out of 2 sides, yeah. And then this one is only basically coming out the bottom here. And then the attachment is what's going to do it. So it's quite hard to compare air volume. But I think it's probably going to be comparable. They're similar units in terms of size. Now I can't turn this one off. I just held down the power button for some reason, and now it's like doing a power. If I hold it down. Okay, now it's turning down. And then off. That should be going off. Okay, now that's off. Okay, so that can be kind of confusing, especially if it's behind your head. I do think this tactile click is going to make that easier, and being able to turn it up and down and be a bit more like, you know, controlled in what you're doing with that. I think that's kind of good. So I think what this is going to do is this is going to go in here. Well, my idea is that this is going to go in here. But I am going to read the instructions. So other than that, it seems pretty easy, as in like there's not much else to figure out on this one. I'm going to look now just at these instructions and see if we can figure out the turbo fan, the battery status, the charging ports. I think we know how to do this. Okay, so the turbo button gives 30 seconds of maximum power to clear up things fast. So basically the reason I'm pushing the turbo button and it's not turning down again is because that just gives you like a kind of blast, which is quite clever. I do like that. Okay, your unit comes with a installation punch tool included, which you can use to cut the correct shape in your goggles, line it up on the rubber in the middle of your goggles, and then use a hammer and a solid surface to punch through. The simplest way to learn how to do this is go to Novritsch Academy, novritsch.com/academy, and follow our in-depth tutorials. We discuss points. So that might be what I'm going to do now, is maybe let's go to novritsch.com/ what is it? Here we go. If I do one of these, novritsch.com/academy, and then we can maybe get this set up so we can see. But I don't think I'm going to do a full setup on the helmet this video. I'll probably do a install of this gasket, and then we'll just hook the wires up as it's charging. And then in the next video, if you guys want to see it, I'll do a full install on here. I'll try and run the wires or the PTFE tube where we think it's going to go. And then hopefully that's good. But I'm thinking maybe I need to use cable ties. I actually 3D printed some cable ties, which was amazing. I was thinking, like, why didn't I think of that before? It literally was the fastest thing ever, like 3D printing cable ties. Novritsch.com/academy. I'll share the screen with you guys so you can see this as well. Okay, so we're going to go here. We are going to Tech Tips and Knowledge, maybe. Sniper Academy, Ghillie Academy. How to solder, how to paint your rifle, gas magazines, how to chrono. Okay, we don't need that. I don't know where. Technical support, airsoft tips, how to adjust hop up, surprise your enemies, don't expose yourself, 5 tips more accuracy. I mean, it's cool that they've got this, but I can't see any of these options where it's going to allow me to. I thought it would be in tech tips and knowledge, but it's not in there. If I look at doing it, I think we're going to want to just trying to get this thing out. I'll switch back to this for a second, and then we can try and work that out. It looks like this end is quite sharp, so you're almost supposed to just line this up and hammer it through. This does kind of have like a little piece inside, so that's where I'm a little bit not concerned, but I'm a little bit like, do I need to do this on this one? Because we're going to want it to sit that way, I presume. On top of the goggles, because then it's going to push out that air. It is going to put this in the middle of my vision, which isn't ideal. Discuss the points you need to watch out for and guide you through the process. Okay, maybe I'll leave it at that, guys, and then I'll try and work it out in the next video. I'll show you what I've done to like actually put it in, because I think that's going to be what I'm going to need to do. This is basically going to go just here, and then that is going to sit there for my goggles, and that's just going to have those PTFE tubes. So I'm going to have to work out the way to attach these and hold them in place. And that, I think, is going to be the big thing, is working out like, what am I doing with the wires or the lines? Am I going to like, how am I going to actually put the PTFE tube in different locations? So I'm going to work that out now, but thank you guys for being here. I think it's a good product from what I've seen. I think it's all really going to depend on how I can get this set up and if these goggles keep sweat off my face, because that's going to be the deciding factor for sure on whether I run these or I continue to run my M-Frames. I do love the M-Frames though, so it's going to be hard to beat that out. All right, guys, thank you so much. Price on that one was 60 euros, about $80. Price on this was 30 euros, and then it was 10 euros for the little arc rail adapters there. So that's all you're going to need if you want to do this setup yourself. Have a great day, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.